What's good, you guys? We're back with another video. Today we're back with another installment of A Day on the Hardwood, and we're talking about these two games that happened today: the Miami Heat versus Milwaukee and Portland versus Denver. Right now, the Portland-Denver game is a 19-point game at 2 minutes and 43 seconds, so I decided to hop on here a little bit early because the game is just about over. They could go on a run, and I may have to restart this whole entire thing, or they have their bench players, and so then that's gonna happen. Anyway, let's get into this Milwaukee Miami Heat game first, and this is what I have the most dialogue about. This is the game I have the most. I want to have the most dialogue about. It is mostly about the Miami Heat. The Bucks played great. They played great. Giannis played really well. He hit his free throws, staying not his threes, but he hit his free throws. Chris Middleton played decent. Bryn Forbes is one of those players that really put him away. And when you talk about the Bucks, you don't always talk about Bryn Forbes as one of those good role players off the bench, one of the best ones for them. But if he has games like this, he's going to be very, very valuable to their success. So I was really excited to see what Forbes did today, and also Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis played decent as well. PJ Tucker, like I said in the last video talking about the Bucks, he's going to be super duper valuable for this team, just defensive wise, and he did that once again today. Now, let's talk about the Miami Heat. And this year, it's always been, oh yeah, the Heat gonna do it in the playoffs though. Jimmy gonna go crazy in the playoffs. He's not a regular season type of player. Yada yada yada. Oh, they gonna be good. Spo gonna have them good. Pat Riley has a great team conditioning. Oh, this is our culture. Yada 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 yada. Tyler Hero, we don't need to trade Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson. We're too good for that. We want to build up. We want to build from inside. We don't want to do that. That's the type of energy they always on, and I just don't like it. It's weird to me. Like, just make your team better. And now they just look stupid with Tyler Hero playing bad. Duncan Robinson had a great game in game 1, not so much in game 2, and Jimmy Butler is playing terrible right now. And Jimmy Butler is what I have the most problem with, because a couple weeks ago, he was like, you know what, just get us to the playoffs, you know what I'm saying? Just get me to the playoffs, and I'll take it from there. And let me just say, he has not took it from there. And when you say stuff like that, you just have to back it up. 13 points per game in these first 2 games, 25% from the field, and I think 22% from 3. Just really, really bad. Bam Adebayo is not playing well either, and our role players just aren't getting it done. Besides Duncan Robinson, that first game, the role players just aren't getting it done, and you wasted that type of game from Duncan Robinson and lost because Jimmy Butler wants to play that bad. They really, really, really needed that game because they were right there, although Butler and Adebayo played bad because of Robinson. But they lost it because Butler went 4 for 22, and you can't say stuff like, and you can't say and do stuff that Jimmy Butler does and get bounced in the first round. You just can't, bro. You can't, and that's just my opinion. You can't do that. He's an outspoken guy, and I respect him, and he works hard, and he's come all the way up from here, and I don't want to sound like a hater, but you just can't do that, in my opinion, bruh. So, and Bam Adebayo, I think, is not getting as much hate because Jimmy Butler is also playing bad, but he's not playing like himself either. And he's been hyped up to be a really, really good player as well. In the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year, didn't make the finalist, thought he should, but he's not showing it right now. Getting dominated by Giannis in the place that he's been guarding him, and Giannis is really dominated that game today, along with Bryn Forbes. So I really love that from both of those players. And man, Tyler Hero and all those role players off the bench, Goran Dragic, they just have to play better for them to actually go far. And I predicted for the Heat, the Bucks to win in 6, but I wouldn't have been surprised if the Heat won because that's the type of team they are. But man, if they lose this series, a lot of people are gonna look back and clown them for not trading for James Harden because they thought they're too good for that. He didn't fit his culture, bro. It's James Harden. Forget your culture, honestly, forget it. To be honest with you, bro, and stuff like that when it's like it's so. It just seemed like they acted like they were too good, or Pat Riley can build from inside. Like, bro, James Harden is a generational type player. Just go and get him. Do anything you can to get James Harden. That should be the goal for every team in the NBA. Do anything you can to get a player like James Harden, and they just didn't do that. So that's kind of disappointing. Now let's get to this Nuggets Trailblazers game. It literally just ended. The Trailblazers defense is terrible. That's what I want to say first. The Trailblazers defense is terrible, and Terry Stotts is a really bad coach. I was looking forward to the playoffs to see how good or how bad Terry Stotts was going to coach, and he's been a pretty bad coach so far. The biggest mistake that I think he made throughout this game was a little bit into the fourth quarter. Yusuf Nurkic picked up his fifth foul, and he kept him out there, and in the next possession, he gets an offensive foul charge. He's out the game. You got to take him out to keep him for the end of the game just to give yourself a chance. And now Carmelo Anthony's running center, and I think they scored like 5 points in a row. And from there, it just felt like the game was out of reach. CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard played decent, especially Damian Lillard, but not as good in the second half. He had an insane second quarter, but his second half wasn't great. At one point, he only had 1 3 in the second half when he had like 8 in the first, so he didn't play great, but all around decent game for Dame, all around decent game for CJ. I loved how Norman Powell was driving at times, just really using that strong body to get to the bucket, and I love that from him, but he has to knock down those corner threes when he gets the opportunity. And I feel Derrick Jones Jr. should get a little bit more minutes because, man, those Carmelo minutes with Enes Kanter are just like, man, sometimes it's dreadful sometimes, man. It's really, really dreadful. The Trailblazers defense as a whole is dreadful. Like, it's super bad. It's not playoff defense whatsoever. And they make the Nuggets defense actually look decent when their defense isn't all that as well. So now let's get to the Nuggets side of thing. The Trailblazers just have to come with more energy. The series is tied 1-1. It's going to be another great series from these two teams. It seems like it's always a good series, so I'm excited for the future of this one. Now let's talk about the Nuggets. Nikola Jokic, 33 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. What do you want me to say, man? What do you want me to say? He's the MVP, has another type of MVP performance, and he's been doing this all year. I'm not surprised anymore. Man, like his 3-point making, like the timely three-pointers that he had throughout this game was really, really cool. It was insane how timely some of the threes he hit. I love to see it, but they had a lot of big stretches without Jokic. I think they played good. Campazzo played great. Austin Rivers played better than he did in game 1. Michael Porter Jr. wasn't taking as many ill-advised shots as he did last game. And what I really, 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 really want to talk about is how Aaron Gordon did on Damian Lillard in the second half. Mike Malone decided to go with something a little bit different and put Aaron Gordon, 6'9", big frame, on Damian Lillard. And he showed that Aaron Gordon showed that he can be a pretty good defender, and I love to see that from Aaron Gordon because he has all the tools to do so. Him and Andrew Wiggins kind of are both coming onto these playoff teams and showing that they can be really good defenders, and Aaron Gordon showed that just like Andrew Wiggins had showed that throughout the season, and I really love to see that because his length and his decent lateral quickness was just a little too much for Damian Lillard, and the fact that Damian Lillard was on ball a lot, it wasn't coming off any screens, any off-ball screens, which would probably have messed up Aaron Gordon a little bit, which is another reason why Stotts had a pretty bad coaching day today. But just him on ball, his length, it was just a little too much for Damian Lillard in the second half, although Lillard still had a pretty good game and an okay second half. But still, I really love that from Aaron Gordon. I like the 4 guard rotation that they're running. They got Austin Rivers, Campazzo, Marcus Howard, and Monte Morris, and they all played really, really good minutes. I love what Marcus Morris has been doing, man. He brings that spark off the bench, and he's not a negative on the defensive end, although he's pretty small. He plays hard in the minutes that he does on the defensive end, so I like to see that. Campazzo's a dog on the defensive end. But stop doing that flopping stuff with that flagrant with CJ McCollum. That was kind of weak to me, but anyway, I like Campazzo for the most part. Austin Rivers is going to give you buckets, not green on the defensive side of the ball. And although I'm very, very thankful about all those great games this weekend from the playoffs, let's not have 2 blowout days in a row. I'm okay with 1 blowout day in a row. I feel like we need that as an NBA community. We're so on edge about every single game. It was great, and 1 day is perfectly fine. But let's not make it 2. Both of these series, actually not. I feel like this Bucks series is gonna be over in a little bit, but this Nuggets Trailblazers series can be one of those that goes to 7, and I'm really hoping for that. Tomorrow we have the Mavs Clippers, Lakers Suns, and Celtics Nets. And the Mavs Clippers game is going to be on NBA TV because it's at the same time as the Lakers Suns, which it makes me so mad because I want to watch both of those games. But I'm obviously going to watch the Mavs game because look right there. That's why. So I'm not gonna have the greatest analysis about the Lakers Suns game, but I'm gonna still talk about it a little bit because I'm obviously gonna catch a little bit of the game, but not the full one because I gotta watch my Mavs. And the Celtics Nets game will probably be another kind of blowout where Harden, Kyrie, and Durant don't try the whole time. So we'll see a little bit more of that. If you like this type of content, like I said on the video if you haven't already, I'm posting these daily. I'm on the grind this summer trying to be the best content creator as possible. So if you like this type of content, like I said on the video if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.